Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the TeSys training. I'm your host, Leandro Mala, and in this video what we're gonna see is how we can control our TeSys U via Modbus serials with our Modicon M221. So let's go to the presentation. As I explained before, in order to connect the TeSys U with the Modicon M221 via Modbus serial, we just need a cable, okay? So the cable that we can use, if you use a Schneider, we can use this one, okay? And of course, on the TeSys U, we just need to use the communication card. Otherwise, no. So if we want to use multiple TeSys U, we probably advise to use the hub, the Modbus serial hub, to connect multiple devices. Then, what we need to check if once everything is set up, if we have an issue, we should be able to check on the LEDs that we had in front, and I believe is this one. So you have here, for example, in my case, in front you have some LEDs. If everything is well, you should be able to see this blinking, okay, and the power on. Then if you have an issue with the communication, this one in the middle, the one for the error, should be flashing. So, wrong button again. So that's for one part. I'm not going to explain this part, I already explained that before. Here is something important. If you're using the Modicon M221, this part, you are going to use the Schneider cables probably, but if not, then you need to make your own cable and follow this for these three cables that you need. So pin 4, 5, and the ground, okay? Then this part is already in a way done on the basic E-Construction Machine Expert Basic that I'm going to show you. So let's go to the software, the E-Construction Machine Expert Basic, so I can give you an explanation how it looks like and how we need to configure this. So as any other software, we have the possibility to use function blocks for communicate to slave devices over Modbus serial. But the kind of explanation how to use those blocks I already explained it, and to be honest, I don't go into that details right now. Again, what I want to show you is how we can use the IO scanner, which is for me, in my opinion, is the best way in order to communicate to Modbus slave devices. So in this case, I'm going to use, for example, here Modbus serial 1. I have another program already done over here that I'm going to show you later, but I'm going to show you the step-by-steps. So here, Modbus serial IO scanner, you just need to match the baud rate that you have over here, and by default, if I'm not wrong, these ones are the same, but let's just double check here. This is the program. Is this the parameters? 19-200, even, 8, and 1. So those are the default parameters that we have on the TeSys U. I just need to duplicate that. So you need to make sure of that on the communication. Then, yes, apply changes. On the IO scanner, you just need to define which is the device. In the drives, this is not a drive, okay? So we need to use others. Here, you have a specific option for TeSys U. So we just need to add it. We're going to say, for example, motor 1. And here just need to define the slide address. As I explained before, okay, in the TeSys U car for the Modbus serial, almost in the back part next to the connection to the base, we have some switches. That definition of the switches will give us the address. Okay, so is everything on bits in a way? So you have, I believe you have 8 or 7, don't remember, but it's in there. You should be able to see that. So you have n numbers of switches, okay, and if the first one is already enabled, it means that you have the number 1. If you have the next one and you have number 3, and you just delete, move down the first one, it's gonna be 2. So you have that combination as it is a bit logic, but you have that information over there in the manual. So we just need to know the slave address, basically. once the slave address is defined, we have some predefined configuration and how are we going to control the unit. Okay, this information is basically almost done on this. Okay, doesn't have anything, but it's just the beginning and just enough to make a control. So it reads this information, and this is important in order to make the reset of the unit on a trip. You just need the manual, but should be able to see that. So if we go to the, let me see, demo case, split. So when the unit trip, you should be able to find this. Okay, so when you trip, you should have in the middle position, then you just need to put it back to reset it, to fold over to here. So when it's reset, you will have in the middle position when you trip. So in order to reset, you just move it down, let's just come it back again. But if there isn't a fault or something different doesn't trip, then you can reset it. Okay, so let's go back. So this is something that adds by default the software. You don't need to do anything else over here. Then here in the channels, what it does, okay, is to give you the control word. So you create this word to control for you. The status, so it creates these variables to read the status. And then you have the warnings and fault. As this is not necessary to have it always all the time, you can assign here a memory bit. So you can assign, for example, the percentage M0. When this one is true, it will execute and you will read the information that you require. Okay, but if not, you can change this to cyclic, define a longer time, and that's it. Okay, but it will depend on what you're after. So once you have this, okay, remember that you have this TeSys motor control status. Okay, you can change this name. So I'm gonna set motor 101 control, motor 01 system, motor 01 warnings, motor 01 faults. So we can add this information over here, which is fine. So you apply this, and in the programming side, under tools, you have network objects, you have input register and output register for the IO scanner. So here you have only two, because it's trying to read the two words that we have. So are these two. So reading the 704 and 703 just for one in reset. So that information is read from the software. So it's gonna be, for example, motor 01 or TeSys 01. It's gonna be MW 703 and MW 704. Okay, and this is information to control the TeSys. So how you can access to that information, for example, if you want to move forward, you have, for example, the M100 or the push button or something that you want to activate the run command of the device. So you just need to create a M bit variable, and here you can use, for example, this one, the symbol, and then you need to access to one specific bit on that word. So colon X, and I don't remember if it's 0 now. If you select 0, it's going to be moving forward. So if we go back to the presentation, 0 forward. Okay, so that is how you assign to each particular bit on the word. Okay, then the other thing that you can do is to check the communication things. So here you have the status, you have everything in one word, the full system status. Then you just need to enter in the communication manual and really see what's going on. So for example, if the system already trip, I believe it's number 3 or 4, the status, So let's see. So there we go. So system fault, system warning 213. So here, if you have fault or something on the TeSys U, you just need to access to the number 2 or 3. So if you go to the software once again, let's add motor01 underscore MW, and I just forgot the name, 455. Okay, so I'm going to Control C, apply. So we just need to use number 2 and number 3. Number 3. You see there is the colon. Probably if you don't see it very well, I can zoom in. So I have that. And then if you want, you can add, for example, I don't know, an output Q00, or just another bit to share that, for example, to an HMI. Okay, so this is how you can make it forward, and the reverse is going to be the next bit, X1, and make the status, okay, in an easy way. Okay, then you can check the codes and everything. So let's show you how it works on the template I have done. So you can see here that I have the device slave 1. The need request is going to be the same thing. Here in the channels, I add a little bit more information, okay, but it's going to be the same, and I'm using, for example, the cyclic information instead of just using 1 bit, but a longer time, so every second I ask this information. And then here in the programming part, you can see that I have defining a few more things, bits for run, reset, and for warning, that information shared to the HMI that I have over here. You probably not see it to the light, but that information is in there available for me. So here what I have done is the Modbus serial line, okay, and everything. Now the other thing that you need to be very careful is when you remove the cable, how do you start the communication once again. They're going to give you some kind of advice on that one. There is a full video of how to implement the AI scanner with Modbus serial for troubleshootings. That will be a full explanation. I'm going to give you the short one here. Okay, so let's connect. So I'm going to log in. So let's just here, okay, you can see me. So now you can see that is flashing, the LED is flashing, which is fine. Okay, so it means that the device is ready to operate and do something. So hopefully if I turn this on, run, okay, let's do the Q0, the MW704, and then I just run, you should be able to hear the TeSys U closing. And you hear it. So here you should be able to find all the information if there's any fault. Let's see if we can replicate the fault. I know 100% sure, so let's take a look. So there are a few things I can do. I can create a short circuit. You should be able to see that it trips. So when it trips on the device, when it's run, you should be able to see an indication, a label over there that is in black. And where it's a fault, you should be able to see an indication that is in red. Okay, so that indication in red means that it has trip, and then you should be able to reset it. You can see right now the device is in fault, so I'm reading a fault, okay, fault and warnings and indication of fault. So what I can do right now I have the communication is still on. I don't know if you can see it over there, but there are some LEDs, which is fine. So I'm going to remove this. It's in fault. I'm trying to reset it, but it's already in trip position, so I need to do the manual thing here. So I need to move this to reset it. Now that it's back, okay, you should be able to see that the fault is no longer available over there. Okay, so I'm going to try to do something else here. Let's have a look. So I believe I can specify the load, but it doesn't generate any warnings at all. I will need to check with the demo case then. I will need to check the demo case data, but this is how you can check the communication with the device. Now, let's see what happens if I remove the cable. It's something that may happen. So if I remove the cable here, okay, we'll probably have no indication of communication at all. There's no flashing anymore. Okay, and the PLC, the communication probably is not starting once again. So if we go to tools, I believe I have an animation table. Yeah, you can see here this is in red because I don't have the communication with the device, which is normal. So if I go back here, connect it back again, you're able to see that still on, but there is no communication at all. So if I try to send this information, it doesn't communicate, which is fine because the PLC has entered into a state that the IO scanner bus is not running. Okay, which is fine. It's fine. Just need to be aware of that. So we have internal system words that give us an idea of what's going on. I believe it's 210 or something similar. Yes, 210 is give us information and status of the IO scanner. Okay, so right now, if you can see the screen, this part of the screen should be able to see that it is in red. So it's like a timeout, communication timeout. So there is no communication that is in fault right now. Okay, communication fault. So one thing that we need to do here is to reestablish the communication, this IO scanner on the controller. So SW10 is give us information. So and SW210. So the number 3 means it's partially working, but you just need to refresh it and reset it. Okay. So I believe it's 110, 14, I remember. There is a system bit in order to reset that. 110, yes, 110 for the serial one. So that's 110. So what we need to do is to reset this, to have the PLC in order to communicate once again. Now, as you can see, there is number 2. Okay, so it is trying to communicate. The problem is that the device is still in fault. As you can see here, I have communication. Now you should be able to see that it's in, you cannot see it for my fingers, but I had communication. Okay, it's flashing, and this one is also flashing because I have the fault. So what we need to do is to reset this. So in order to reset it, we just need to send a command to reset. Hopefully you start communication again. And we have the fault and we have the warnings. Now you can see that there is no longer the indication of the LED in red, which is fine, which is what we want to do. Okay, so the other one was for the fault, the one I did first, and this one is for the rest of the warnings. Okay, and when I rest the warning, it just come back the light. Okay, so the idea of this is to show you the things that you need to do in order to connect. So basically use the cable, the M221 with the cable for the BW3 blah 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 reference number to connect to the unit. If you want more TeSys U over communication, probably have the Modbus serial hub. Okay, I believe it's the LU9 something. Should be able to find that on our website. And then in each car for the Modbus module, we just need to set the slave address. And in the AI scanner, you just need to add the on other to be able to have the TeSys U. On the TeSys U, you just need to define probably the channels if you want that to be cyclic, or if you want by the rising edge of a percentage M variable. Okay, and then you just need to find the value for each, the bit for each word in order to make it run, and that information is on the manual. Okay, but 0 if make it run on the 704, the 1 on the 704, the bit 1 is the reverse, and then you have the reset, which is the 3 and 3 on the 703 and 704 registers. Okay, but that information is on the manual. I totally recommend to take a look on the manual for the Modbus communication car. Then it's important, if you love the communication, if you have the LEDs flashing as I show you on the demo, you will need to first check what is the error, if it's the PLC or it's the TeSys U. If everything was working, probably something that you have disconnected a cable or something, and you will probably need to check on these registers over here that I show you, the SW210 or another one for serial line 1 or 2. Just need to add one SW11 or 10, and it's going to be the S110 or 11 for reset the channel, the serial line. Okay, so that is how we can control the TeSys U over Modbus serial using the Modicon M221. So thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.